Today we're going to talk about a couple variations on a minor blues. Now we're going to be dealing with the minor blues as a 12-bar chord progression, much like the regular 12-bar blues. One way that some people will play it is just to take every chord, instead of playing a 7th chord or a dominant 7th chord, playing just minor chords for the whole thing, which is it's a little boring. Sometimes you'll find it with funkier blues. Just to illustrate this, we're going to use an A minor 7 chord for our one chord, which I like to play it with the middle finger on the A, which is the root, 5th fret, 6th string, and then I'll bar my 3rd finger on the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th strings on the 5th fret. Another common way of playing this is if you do a bar chord, like a minor bar chord, but don't have the 4th finger. So your 1st finger is barred on all 6 strings, and then your 3rd finger plays the 5th string at the 7th fret. That's another way of playing a minor blues. This one just sounds a little bit cleaner to me. Might be a little tricky to get at first, but it's definitely worth the investment in time. So we're going to use that for our 1 chord. We're going to use this for our 4 chord, which is a D minor 7. With these, the 7th chords sound a little bit more lush, a little bit more interesting. If I was just to play minor chords, it doesn't sound really that great to me. So the D minor 7, we're barring from the 5th string down on the 5th fret, and then you can put your middle finger on the 2nd string, 6th fret, your 3rd finger on the 4th string, 7th fret. So that's your D minor 7, which is your 4 chord. So I have the 1 chord, which is A minor 7, D minor 7, and then you can do a E minor 7 just by moving the D minor 7 up 2 frets. So quickly, what I'll do is I'll play give it kind of a strum here. Here's just a 12-bar blues where we've changed all the chords into minors. 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, 3. Now we're going to the 4th chord, 4th chord on the 5th measure, and then back to the 1 chord. Then the 5 chord, 4 chord for a bar, and then the 1 chord for 2 bars. So the chord progression, if we're just doing this variation on it, it's just a 12-bar blues. You have 4 bars of the 1 chord, 2 bars of the 4 chord, 2 bars of the 1 chord, a bar of the 5 chord, bar of the 4 chord, 2 bars of the 1 chord. That gives us 12 bars. Another variation, what I kind of like to think of as the B.B. King version, is where all of this stays the same, except when we get to the 9th bar where you have the 5 chord and then the 4 chord, we're going to switch that. We're going to play a dominant chord on the what we call the flat 6. It's just if you go to your 5 chord, which in the key of A would be E, and you go up 1 fret, all right, and we play a 7th chord, that's going to give us a flat 6 dominant chord is what we're going to call that. The 6th comes from when we were doing our chord progressions, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This would be the 6th note up in the major scale, and it just so happens this chord is built off of a note a half step down or 1 fret down from that 6th. So we call it the flat 6. And then we play a 7th chord, so that's an F7. Now, chord voicing, barring, just like we're doing on the D and the E, 5th string all the way down on the 8th fret, 4th finger on the 2nd string, 10th fret, and then 3rd finger on the 4th string, 10th fret. So we're going to play that on the 9th bar. Then on the 10th bar, we're going to go down and play an E7 chord, which is a dominant 5 chord, and then back to the A. So this will sound like this. 3, 4. So 1 bars, 2 bars, 3, 4. Now on the 4 chord, back to the 1. we got the flat 6 chord, we got the 5 chord, and then 2 bars of the 1 chord. That chord progression, if we just recite what the progression is, 4 bars of the 1 chord, 2 bars of the 4 chord, 2 bars of the 1 chord, a bar of this flat 6 dominant chord, which happens to be F in the key of A, a bar of the 5 chord, which is now dominant, it's not minor, and then 2 bars of the 1 chord. I've seen where people have kind of mixed and matched those feels before. You could make it minor 1 chord, minor 4 chord, and a dominant 5 chord. So that would sound like this. 2, 3, 4, and then into the 4 chord. Not as interesting. This chord voicing doesn't work so. Actually, if you played this E7, it might sound a little bit nicer. This E7 being kind of like if we played an open C chord down here. When you play just a regular old open C chord, and you put your 4th finger on the 3rd string, 3rd fret, that becomes a 7th chord shape you can move up. And if you move it up to where your 3rd finger is on the 7th fret, 5th string, that's also an E chord. So just like this is an E chord, so is this an E chord. So you have this where it's a little smoother sounding. I've never really liked that chord progression, but it is an option. It is a variation. A lot of times when I end up playing this stuff on gigs, it ends up being kind of like a funkier groove. You're not going to go like that sort of deal through it. It's nice to know some jazzier chords, some 7th chords and 9th chords. When I'm playing in this position, playing the 4 chord instead of this minor 7, playing it as a minor 9 is real nice. And what it is you've got your middle finger on the 5th fret, 5th string, 1st finger on the 3rd fret, 4th string, and then you're barring your 3rd finger on the 2nd and 3rd, and even the 1st string if you want to. So that works kind of nice because it's a jazzier sound. For the F, or the flat 6 dominant chord, you play it as a 9th chord. Middle finger on the F, which is the 8th fret, 5th string. 1st finger on the 7th fret, 4th string, and then you're barring your 3rd finger on the 8th fret on the 3rd, 2nd, and 1st strings. And then you can just drop it down to the E as a 9th chord. If you wanted to, you could play the F9 and then the old E7 we were doing. You get kind of some interesting things. It's something to play around with. There's variations on this. It's not as common as a 12-bar blues. It's really fun to play over.